Today we'll be learning to partition our numbers, then add them back together effectively. Watch the warm-up video to get your brains thinking.
34 plus 62 plus 58. Here's my representation of 34. Here is my representation of 62. And here is my representation of 58. And it got me thinking about something that George Polya said. It's better to solve one problem 5 different ways than to solve 5 different problems. So I'm thinking, how many different ways can we solve this problem? How many different strategies can we use? So my first idea, I think, is going to be to collect tens. So I've got 3 tens here. I'm going to collect these 3 tens. And I know that 3 and 5 is 8. So I'm going to collect these 5 tens from here. So 3 tens and 5 tens, I've got 8 tens. Now I want to add the 6 tens to my 8 tens. And I know that 6 and 8 is the same as double 7, so 14. So when I collect these 6 tens, I'll be able to add it to my 8 tens and use double 7 as my strategy. So now I've got 14 tens. Now I've noticed something else. I've got 8 here and 2 there. If I collect all of these, I can actually make another 10. Let me just pick that up. Now I've got another 10. And now I've only got, so now that is 14 tens and 1 more 10, so 15 tens. And now I've got 15 tens and 4 more, which I would rename as 154. So what's another strategy we could use? You might be thinking, use a written strategy. And you might call it an algorithm. And algorithm actually just means like a process, a bit like a recipe that you follow. So I might follow this recipe now. So I've got 34 plus 62 plus 58. Then I add the ones. So 4 and 2 is 6 and 8 is 14. Now I don't know why we call it carrying the 1 because I had 14. What I'm carrying is the 110 really. But I've got 1 10 and 3 tens is 4 tens. And then another 6 tens is 10 tens. Plus 5 tens is 15 tens. So I write that down. And the answer that I get after following my recipe is 154. So let's think of a different strategy. I might rub this out. And what I might do now is I might actually recreate these collections. So I had 32, so that's 3 tens, and then 2 more. Okay. I then had 62, so I might represent that like this. 6 tens, and then 2 more. And then I had 58. So, and then I had my 58 here. Okay. 34 actually, there we go. So now I've got my 34, I've got my 62, and I have my 58. And looking at this problem, I've noticed something. 62 and 58 are both really close to 60, and you can see that in the collections that I've made. In fact, what I can do is, if I actually move these 2 across and combine it with this 8, I now will have another 10. And why that's really useful is that now I have 6 tens and then another 6 tens. That's really useful to me because I know double 6, and I know that 2 times 6 tens is 12 tens. That's really useful for me. So now what do I have? I've got 34, and then I've got 12 tens. So now what I have is 12 tens, and now I can combine it with these 3. Now I have 15 tens and 4 more. And 15 tens and 4 more we rename as 154. So now I might actually write it up for you so you can see how I was thinking. So what I actually did there was I changed the problem. I actually changed it to 6 tens plus 6 tens plus 34. So I knew that that was 12 tens plus 34. And what I did was I got these 3 tens and I combined it with my 12 tens to make 15 tens. So I had 15 tens and 4 more, which I renamed as 154. What's really great is that that's only 4 steps. When I did the algorithm, I got to an answer. It was the correct answer, but there were 8 steps, which means I'm more likely to make a mistake. And I was only really dealing with 1-digit addition. Here, it was 4 steps, but I was really engaging with the numbers.
Alrighty, this is going to be hot maths. So just like in the video we just watched, we're going to effectively partition numbers using place value and addition. So we're going to warm up into what we're going to be doing next week, which is addition, but I want to focus on the place value component of our maths today. So just like in the video, I'm going to choose 3 digits. Let's start with 2 digits actually. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, I want to add these digits together. Now they're big digits, and sometimes that can be a little bit tricky. So what we need to do is break them apart into their place value. So what I need to do, I need to start from left to right, and what I'm going to do is look in the hundreds column first. So if we were to draw little tables with our place value chart, we'd find that we've got 400 plus 200 here. So we've done that one. We're going to look in the tens column next. Now for this one, we don't need as many zeros because 0 is the hero, okay? That determines how many is, that determines what place value that number sits in. If I was to rub off one of these zeros, it would only be 40, but we need 400. So to use up these 2 spots, we need to put zeros in there. So now we're up to the tens column. We've got 60 here plus 90. Okay, now we've done that one. Now we're up to the ones column. This one doesn't need any zeros because it's 1 digit. It's a ones column. So we've got 2 plus 3. So now that I have effectively partitioned my number, it's time to work out what it equals. So what I need to do is I need to work this time from the ones to the hundreds. I need to do this because if this number is bigger, I need to carry or trade those numbers to be bigger numbers. So especially in here, it looks like we're going to have a number that's bigger than a 10. So I'm going to have to carry that up to our hundreds. So let's start with our ones first. We've got 2 plus 3. Well, I know that's 5. Okay? Our next one is 60 plus 90. What do you think that might be? Pause the video and have a quick talk. Alright, an easier way to break this down is sometimes I like to remove the 0 to add it on back later. Because sometimes that number is just a bit too big to work out. So now we have 6 plus 9, which is 15. So we put those zeros back in to remind us. And then we need to add a 0 on the end here. So now the number is bigger than a 10, isn't it? So what we need to do is carry our 100 to make that 50 and add it up the top here. So now we've got 100 plus 400 plus 200. Another way to work it out, you could remove the zeros. So now we only have 1 plus 4 plus 2. So if we start with 1 and add on 4 more and then another 2, what's our number? It's 7. Now we need to add 2 zeros to the end of that number because we're in the hundreds column. Now, what we need to do is add these 3 numbers together. So I'm going to write a new number sentence. 700 plus 50 plus 5. So I've got my hundreds, my tens, and my ones. Now I need to add them together. So what I'm going to do is have 700. I'm going to draw a little table over here. $755. And there's my answer. So I've taken this from this to this to this.
Your challenge is to choose 6 number sentences to partition into their place value, then add back together just like I did. You can have as many numbers as you like, but you must show your thinking just like I did. I separated them and then added them back together using a place value chart. Have a go and challenge yourself.